This video is sponsored by Squarespace. If you want to start building your website on a discount, stick around to the end of the show so I can tell you all about it. Come draft night on April 23rd, as quarterback-needy teams huddle in their dining rooms and the coffee slowly cools, the speculation heats up. Who or what is Jordan Love? Every year, there's a boom or bust quarterback prospect, whose raw but explosive talents could be honed and developed in the proper system. This year, that player is Love, who possesses the physical abilities and sky-high potential of the next great quarterback, but is underdeveloped in many critical areas. His career at Utah State was defined by inconsistency, and was largely a juxtaposition of all the good of 2018 with all the bad of 2019. In 2018, the Aggies won 11 games, the most for their program since 2012. Love broke out with 3,500 yards, 32 touchdowns, and just 6 interceptions, thrusting him into the national spotlight. Then came 2019. They fired their coaching staff, lost 9 of 11 offensive starters, and the team fell apart. Love led the nation with 17 interceptions, and his numbers regressed in almost every category. All of that inconsistency and turnover within the program directly translated to his struggles on the field. The only thing consistent about his game is that it's inconsistent. His mechanics are hit or miss, his accuracy can be pinpoint, then non-existent. He can extend the play and make show-stopping throws on the run, then a play later, overthrow an easy 4-yard bubble screen. We know he has the physical tools, but what I want to know is how he uses those physical tools. Can he consistently weaponize them with his mental processing, anticipation, and awareness? The one thing that did carry over year to year was the air raid offensive scheme that Utah State deployed. Despite Love's steep statistical decline, I thought he actually showed more NFL caliber traits in his 2019 season. In 2018, he was asked to be more of a distributor, which meant more defined reads, get the ball out to your receivers, and let them make a play. In 2019, as the offensive talent declined around him, Utah State developed him into more of a pro-style quarterback. He showed he can read the entire field as opposed to just a half. He played from inside the pocket and showed some of the traits that project to success at the next level. Their air raid scheme used many of the same principles as a typical air raid offense. Spread the defense out as much as possible, run just a select few plays, but run them very well, and attack open space with a route tree that adjusts on the fly. One of the classic core concepts of the air raid offense is a variation of post wheel called 108 T cut. Post wheel is a 2-receiver route combination where the flanked receiver runs a post route and the slot receiver runs a wheel route up the sideline. Post wheel usually utilizes a switch release, where one receiver goes under the other to mess with the defense's coverage rules and create favorable matchups. 108 T cut is a mirrored route concept, meaning both sides of the formation will run the post wheel, and T cut refers to the most inside receiver running an over-the-ball option route. Like we just said, air raid style concepts use a route tree that changes on the fly, so even though the route is called as a post, it will change during the play based on the coverage. Each receiver running the post can really run 3 different routes depending on the leverage of the defender and where the safety is positioned. Let's say the cornerback has a huge cushion and is taking away the post. This tells the receiver to convert his route to a curl to try and attack open space. If the defender has outside leverage, but there's a safety in the middle of the field, he breaks flat and runs a dig. If the corner is even, or is leveraged outside and there's no safety in the middle of the field like we see here at the bottom, then you run the post and dance in the end zone. Boise State is playing some kind of messed up looking cover 4 zone, where they should have 4 deep, but nobody is playing in the middle of the field like you'd usually see in quarters. Love sees 2 receivers to the weak side with the safety over the top. If he can, he wants to attack that safety on receiver mismatch. In 108 T cut, the T cut over the ball option route is the first read. It's not open, and when Love sees the post receiver break inside and nobody in the middle of the field, he has a gift wrap ready to go touchdown placed right in his lap. He needs to use his mental processing and anticipation skills to see this throw open before it happens, but he just doesn't. The wide open middle of the field look was there. The time in the pocket was there. But Love doesn't pull the trigger. Instead, he gets flushed out and makes one of his incredible on-the-run throws into a tiny window. But this is an example of what seems like a great highlight-worthy play not matching up with the film. He shouldn't have had to make this play. He had what should have been a relatively easy throw for a 70-yard touchdown, but because of his inefficiency reading the coverage, he was forced to make a near impossible throw, leaving an even bigger play on the field. What appeared to be one of his better plays actually showed some of his biggest flaws. You get frustrated watching these kinds of plays because you want him to reach his potential and take that next step, but you worry that he never will. He'll struggle to anticipate and properly process coverage, then just a few plays later, suddenly put all the pieces together like you wish he just would have the first time. In true air raid fashion, Utah State is once again running 108T cut. Their concepts have multiple answers built in to adapt and defeat any coverage they face, so they'll run each play about 1 billion times. When Love gets it all right and reads the coverage properly, attacks mismatches and throws with anticipation, he looks like an elite level talent. Boise State is playing a cover 3 zone variation called cover 3 cloud, where the two safeties will play deep thirds and keep a cornerback close to the line. Boise wants to push coverage to the strong side of the formation to make sure they can defend all 3 receivers. This moves coverage away from the backside post and wheel routes, where Love once again sees his receiver matched up with a safety. At times, Love shows a rare ability to read safety rotation at the snap and throw away from that rotation. When he sees them pushing strong, he knows to progress backside if the T cut isn't open. It isn't, so he moves to the post route. Since the post is capped by the corner and has a safety in the middle of the field, the post converts to a dig route to cut underneath that safety. When Love sees the linebacker waiting in that dig window, he turns to his third read, the wheel route one-on-one with the safety. Love has no reservations pushing the ball deep and showing off his arm talent. Even though it's good coverage, he perfectly places a 45-yard dot deep down the field. This is one of the best plays of Love's career and shows just how far his potential can take him. The end zone angle shows each progression and how beautiful this throw is. At the snap, Love reads the safeties rotating strong and to his left, then sees the linebacker blanket the T-cut, which he almost pulls the trigger on. When he comes back to the post, which is converted to a dig, the will linebacker is sitting in that throwing lane. Without any big-time crow hop or windup, he launches a 45-yard bomb, and look at the coverage and where this thing falls in. He's basically giving his receiver a handoff almost 50 yards downfield. The mental processing and coverage recognition is there, but it's not always there, and that's the problem. When teams see that he's not properly reading the entire defense on a down-by-down basis, and is just keying one defender to determine his throw, it's easier to recognize his tendencies and force him to make mistakes. Let's take a look at a play from earlier in the season against LSU. Utah State is running another one of their staple plays, a 3-receiver stick combination. This concept has a go route from 1, a flat route from 2, and a stick from 3. It's designed to horizontally stretch this defender right here. If he sits on the stick route, the flat receiver comes open, and if he drives on the flat, the stick will find that open space away from the inside linebacker. Love does a decent job of scanning the defense instead of turning immediately towards his read, and when he sees his read key defender run to the flat, he quickly hits the stick. He can become too fixated on that one particular defender and sometimes won't scan the entire picture. If you're not fully reading the concept and defense's coverage, teams can pick up on your tendencies and blow the whole thing up. Love needs to consistently read the entire defense. Until then, he's prone to mistakes, which is a big reason why his interception total ballooned to 17. This is the same exact 3-receiver stick concept that Utah State ran just a few weeks before. Boise State saw this exact concept on film and set a trap for Love. They know exactly which defender he is going to read, so pre-snap, they position him way off the line to make the flat route appear open. They run what's called trap coverage, which is also known as palms, 2-read, clamp, blue, and probably a few others. Trap coverage is designed to take away that very flat route that Love thinks is going to be open. The coverage changes mid-play based on how the receivers run their routes. If both receivers go vertical, it's regular man coverage. However, both the outside cornerback and inside cornerback are watching the slot receiver. If he breaks outside underneath 5 yards, the cornerback fires out of his stance and robs the flat, while the other corner has to bust over to top the go route. Because Love is keying that slot cornerback, initially the flat looks wide open, but that's exactly what Boise wants. Instead of reading the entire coverage and adjusting to the linebacker leveraged inside and away from the wide open stick route, Love forces a throw on 1st and 10 that gets picked off and taken back for 6. It's almost like watching two different quarterbacks. At times, you question his awareness and technical abilities to read defenses, and then all of a sudden he shows poise and exceptional awareness to make big-time plays. This is a play we've seen Aaron Rodgers make a million times. With Utah State set early, LSU is still subbing their defense off the field, so Love quick snaps the ball, essentially giving the offense a free play. Instead of just chucking up a go ball due to there really being no consequence, he goes through all of his reads and fully scans the field. At the snap, he immediately checks the positioning and leverage of the backside corner, then comes back to the middle of the field safety to freeze him in position and maintain space up the sideline. This all happens during his quick 3-step drop. A full right to left scan in just 3 steps is an attribute few quarterbacks possess coming out of college. His receiver has a step on the corner, and Love makes one of his special fade route throws over the shoulder, perfectly placed. His inconsistency with mental processing is not the only area of his game where he's rough around the edges. He is similarly all over the map with his pocket awareness, pocket mobility, and how he handles pressure. As I was charting him, it's hard to ignore the fact that he doesn't really like to get hit. When a linebacker is barreling through the line of scrimmage with Love dead in his sights, there are more than a few throws where he bails out and chucks it up for grabs. But then later in the game, he'll get the same blitz, albeit with better protection, and calmly shred that pressure with a perfectly placed 20-yard back shoulder fade. For every play you watch that screams this guy will never make it in the NFL, he comes right back the next play and makes you scribble out those notes. He can't read the coverage. Oh wait, yeah he can't. He isn't comfortable with pressure. Oh, yeah he is. Against San Diego State, he showed another example of when he puts it all together, just how good he can be. On 3rd and 4, Utah State is once again running 108 T cut, but only to one side. They keep a running back in to block against the blitz and have a slant on the backside. As usual, Love's first read is the T-cut, which is blanketed by the linebackers, so he moves to the middle of the field safety. When he sees that he's deep, he moves to the backside slant, which should be open. Since there's a blitzing linebacker and the T-cut is swallowed up, there should be a window for the slant, but there's not. As the blitz closes in, the pocket gets tight. Love calmly slides through the compressing space and reads all the way back to the other side. Since the cornerback is leveraged inside and over the top of the receiver, he snaps his route down and sits for a curl. Love recognizes the receiver's adjustment to the coverage and throws a rope to pick up the first down. Jordan Love is a difficult evaluation. It's so easy to fall for his highlight superstar type plays and overlook his shortcomings. But then the bad starts to pile up and you realize this guy might never get it done. Some of the plays detailed in this video make you say, yeah, this guy is definitely a top 5 pick. And then there are plays where you say to yourself, how can we possibly take him in the first round? My grade comes down to consistency. Can he repeat the good again and again? Will he stay patient, process the entire coverage, and read every defender like he's shown he knows how to? He has the arm talent without a doubt, but it's what you do with that arm talent that ultimately defines you. I've seen him do it, and I've seen him put every one of his abilities together to make something special. If those abilities can be refined, practiced, and repeated again and again, if he can minimize his mistakes and grow into his vast potential, Jordan Love is going to boom. I want to thank Squarespace for sponsoring this week's episode. Squarespace is your one-stop shop for all your website needs. If you've been thinking about creating your own website but are kind of worried at just how daunting that sounds, Squarespace is honestly so easy to start using. I've been building my own business with my channel and trying to establish a brand, which is not easy, and I know a great way to do that is to create a website. When I started researching which website builder to use, Squarespace completely blew me away. They have tutorial and teaching resources for beginners like me, all the advanced functions are really easy to use, and they have so many sleek looking templates it was hard to just choose one. Squarespace's visual designs will give you a professional and stylish platform to share your voice and your work. They have blogging tools, professional portfolio designs, SEO tools, analytics. It's really much more than you could ask for, and I knew for what I wanted, they helped me design the best website possible. Check out squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Rollins, that's ROLLINS, to save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain. So, thanks to Squarespace. Thanks to all of you for listening to the end. I appreciate all of your support, and I cannot wait until the draft. All right, until next Saturday, see ya.